Hi, I'm Jill McBride Baxter, host of the Born to be a Sports Agent podcast. I'm a longtime sports attorney and NFLPA certified contract advisor and author of the book Born to be a Sports Agent. Here we break down the legal and business side of sports so you can make better decisions on and off the field. Hi, this is Jill Baxter with Born to be a Sports Agent, and we're here with Wes Brown. And these ladies are going to interview him. He is a 2026 NFL draft pick. And we're going to talk about that process for Wes. Let's go ahead, ladies.
Hi, Wes. We are Victory Athletics. My name is Ekpreet Virk.
I'm Kylie Miller.
I'm Lema Abdallah.
And I'm Elynnor Trail.
So first of all, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm going to start off by doing a brief introduction. Feel free to correct me if I get anything wrong. So today we are sitting down with Wesley Brown, a long snapper from Fresno State and a 2026 NFL draft prospect. Wes has had a unique journey. He spent 2 seasons at San Mateo Junior College, where he also played wide receiver, and then 1 season at Cal, before coming to Fresno State as the Bulldogs' primary long snapper. During the 2025 season, he was named to the Patrick Mannelly Award watch list, which recognizes the best long snapper in the FBS. Wes, welcome to the show, and once again, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time, and we're excited to have you.
Thank you. So am I. Yeah.
Hi, Wes. This is Kylie. Thank you again for joining us. So you've played on 3 different teams and successfully transitioned at each stop. Can you walk us through those transitions from junior college to Cal to Fresno State and how each experience helped you develop into the long snapper that you are today?
Yeah, no, totally. So, coming out of high school, I had no offers or any traction to go to a college. I didn't have the best grades, or the best attitude or mindset towards football. Um, but I was lucky enough to get an opportunity to go to San Mateo Junior College. And when I first got there, I was playing receiver and tight end, and I wasn't really snapping at all. Um, and my coach told me, he was like, "Hey, listen, you're too light to play either, tight end, and you're not quite fast enough to play receiver. So you should probably learn how to long snap. That's the best way for your build to go to college." So that's what I did. I had one of my teammates teach me how to do it. He was the primary snapper at the junior college. So he taught me how to snap, and I just stuck with it. I'd say the path from junior college to regular university was actually extremely helpful because I was probably not mature enough. I didn't have the right habits nor the right mindset to be successful at a normal university, and junior college was able to be kind of a stepping stone between high school and normal college. So I was able to better my habits, better my mindset, work on my size and get a little bit stronger, faster, so that when I actually made the step to going to Cal, I was able to perform and actually play at a high level. And then transferring from Cal to Fresno was also a big change and kind of took a hit on the ego because I was at a Pac-12 school and was really excited about that, and going down I guess a conference. I kind of had to look inward and say, listen, I have to. This is another opportunity that I get to make my dreams come true, and this is just another stepping stone towards where I want to be in life. And I feel like this is the right decision that is going to put me forward. So I was really excited to go to Fresno, and it was a great opportunity for me to get a scholarship, and it was a great opportunity for me to play and show what I was capable of.
Hi, Wes. Lema here. Thanks for being here today. So long snapping is often described as a silent position, and while long snappers don't always get the spotlight, every single rep you have in a game matters. So how do you stay mentally locked in and prepared for those moments, and also share the value to a team beyond just clean snaps?
Well, yeah, I guess kind of like the motto for most snappers is go unnoticed, because the second you get noticed is the second you do something wrong. Um, so the sole purpose of the position is just do your job. You have one job, and that's to complete a snap. I guess there's more goes into it, blocking and tackling of the sort, but really you are just snapping the ball. And I guess, what gives you the confidence and the ability to do that is just stacking thousands and thousands of reps and coming every day and practicing and working on the details of it and going in and watching film and making sure that the details are done correctly and that you're not looking over things and that you're making sure your standard is high enough to be able to compete at an extremely high level. I don't know if there's more on that question that you want to build on.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also asked you, how do you show your value to a team beyond just clean snaps?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I take my job really seriously, even though you're on the field for two parts of the game, punt and field goals. And I take extreme ownership in those. I take extreme ownership in understanding every single scheme, every single front we're going to face, the roles that every single player is going to play around me, and making sure that they're performing at the standard that I think we should all be playing at. And some of those guys are playing other positions as well. They're offensive linemen or tight ends or running backs or whatever position they may play. I take extreme ownership in doing my part. So I try to take a load off their shoulders. If I'm watching film and I'm noticing things, I'm not going to, hope that if they see the same thing in film, because they're watching plenty of other stuff and studying plenty of other stuff. So I'll go to them and I'll just tell them, hey, if you watch this small cut up and you look at these certain plays, you're going to see, how this person's going to trigger, how this person's going to play if they have a certain foot up. Those type of things, I try to take a load off their plate and add it to mine so that I can help make their job and their role easier, because I know they're playing a much more complicated position than I am. So I'm going to try to make it as easy for them. So that's what I've always taken a lot of pride in and a lot of ownership in. And I think that's where one of my main benefits as a leader for our team, I think, came into play.
Hi, Wes. I'm Elynnor. Thanks for being with us again. We know that physical preparation, especially weight training, is really integral for any athlete and even for specialists. So we were wondering how you're preparing for pro day leading up to the draft, and also how much time you spend on snapping versus strength, mobility, and blocking.
Yeah. So I've never had an issue lifting weights or working out. That's always been kind of one of my biggest passions, was training. So I've never had a issue with like finding motivation in that or doing any of that. But for pro day, it's very different. You're no longer training with the team. It's a little harder. You're not competing against the guy at your rack or the rack next to you or across the room, or seeing, oh shit, this guy's lifting this much, I'm going to put on 10 more pounds or 20 more pounds than he is. It's much more, you have to look inward and continue to find motivation and discipline in yourself to be able to train. So currently I'm training at Fresno State with the Fresno State strength staff. And then I'm also training with a coach that primarily focuses on snapping and mobility. So I'm trying to find a balance between the strength coaches at Fresno, because I believe if they've gotten me this far, they can continue to push me further. And then I've also integrated the snapping coach and the mobility coach as well, because that's extremely important. But finding the balance between them can be difficult, because one, you want to train in the weight room as hard as possible, but sometimes the harder you train in the weight room, it can take away from your ability to snap, depending on how exhausted you are. So you just have to, balance that. So I've been snapping probably about 3 days a week now, 4 days a week now, and trying to lift about 4 to 5 days a week, and just kind of staggering them, maybe overlapping 1 or 2 days.
So I have a question for you, Wes. Are you going to train for what I call the track events at the pro day? Are you going to train for the 40? Are you going to train for the broad jump? Are you going to train for the vertical and snap and do the shuttles? What's your plan for that?
Yeah, I plan on training for all of it. I think displaying my athletic ability is one of my biggest assets compared to a lot of other snappers in this draft class. Everybody snaps a great ball, but it's all about your ability to get into a block, deliver a block, and then also cover punts. I believe that I'm incredibly talented at that. So yeah, I want to be able to run a fantastic 40 and do all the cone drills and everything and display my athleticism to further put myself ahead the rest of the snappers that are in this draft class.
Okay, well, one of the biggest questions, the special teams coaches are going to have is the protection is different. The punt protection is different in the NFL than it is in college. So can you explain to our listeners and to my students what it is you need to learn between now and that? And let's say your pro day on the protection, because I know you spent some time last week down in Florida working on that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the transition from a college style punt to a pro style punt is very different. I know for Fresno State, it was a lot of lateral blocking or bailing out and blocking a backside edge. Professionals don't do that, as well as the way they read a box is different. A college style, a lot of the time, it is inside out instead of outside in. So in pro style, you're always blocking the 4 to 5 guy who's going to be the guy inside the A gaps, counting from the outside in, while a college style, the 1 would be in the A gaps. So it's flipped, and it's a lot of vertical setting instead of horizontal as much. So that's one thing I've been trying to spend a lot of time on and speak to a lot of people that have played in the NFL and just kind of learn from them what their little tips and tricks are, how they watch film, how they analyze punt rushes, how they analyze other people's protections. I've been watching a lot of film on that and just trying to understand it. And so I'm able to put my best foot forward when it does come to blocking and doing all that protecting.
What is the approximate size of the guys you're going to go against in punt protection in NFL versus college?
Well, in a college style, usually it is faster guys. So a lot of running backs or smaller linebackers, kind of safety type players that are going to be in the box. That is the same for pro style.
Okay.
The players they get bigger. Occasionally they'll put defense like edges in the box. So you'll be going against somebody who's, probably 6'5", 260 pounds, all the way from, so you're blocking bigger people that are still incredibly fast. So just the level and the ability that you have to be able to snap, hit a finish on the snap to make sure that you're snapping a good ball, and then vertical setback to be able to get your eyes on whoever you're blocking. Because if you don't have your eyes on the person you're blocking, then this defensive lineman is going to push you back and ruin your day.
Yeah.
Or take your job. So
yeah, or take your job. Yeah, we kind of had that conversation with Marlon. What do you think you are going to need to do to be able to show the NFL teams that you're going to be able to block that bigger guy? And what actually is your actual height? What is your height?
I'm 6'3".
Okay.
So I think being able to show an NFL team what I can do and my athleticism, I think my athleticism plays a huge role in it. My speed, my quickness, and my ability to react plays a huge role in being able to block somebody that fast. My height does play a decent role as well. Being big and athletic, being long, if they try to stem around you, because a lot of teams will stem a snapper because their eyes are down. They can't see somebody cross their face. I have longer arms. I'm able to catch people. I'm able to hug. I'm able to reach and grab, which is hugely beneficial in comparison to somebody that is 5'10", who has a shorter wingspan. Weight also plays a factor, putting on a couple extra pounds so that it's an easier matchup. That is extremely beneficial. But just displaying the athleticism, the ability to get vertical so that you can gain leverage on the person that's rushing you.
Yeah, what is your wingspan? Do you know?
I should have it,
You should
but
add that to your profile, by the way.
I have it somewhere in here.
Okay, you
I
do.
know it
So I
for
was
a
like, ooh,
fact.
that's kind of important. I forgot about that.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
not, I can find it in 2 seconds.
So I have another question for you on the whole thing that was going on with NIL and rev share. And I
Hmm.
know it was on our team, but you know, we're
Quickly, if you want to know my wingspan, it's 80 inches.
okay, 80 inches. Okay, so I'm curious when you were on the team this last couple of years at Fresno State,
Hmm.
between last year and this year, did you see a change, at least on our team or in any team, with this rev share situation where one player is getting more than another? And did that cause problems on our team?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, see, this is
Well, I mean,
now
my
that he's done
bigger,
playing, I can ask him these questions.
yeah. Oh, let's get into it then.
Okay,
So,
let's.
so I know for most people, most professionals, if you go to, I guess, say into it, and you go ask a bunch of engineers what their money is, it's a really weird conversation. They don't want to tell you because they're
Okay.
all professionals. But if you go into a college locker room and start asking people how much they get paid, they're 20 years old. Of course they want to brag about how much they get paid. Oh, I get paid 1,500. I get paid 1,800 a month. I get paid 6 grand a month. Maybe it's not being said as a back and forth argument type of conversation, but money's become less taboo in the world of college football, and money's also become a huge role in the world of college football. Um, but yeah, it definitely is a huge argument because if you start paying a whole bunch of 20-year-old guys a lot of money, they're going to argue. I played more snaps than you. Every snap that I was in, I performed better than you did. Why are you getting, $600 more than I am, or however much money you want to, add X amount? But no, it's a huge topic of debate. I guess a lot of teams have integrated a professional style of payment, so they'll take the percentages that an NFL team will pay players, and
Uh,
they'll just enter in. Okay, well, if an NFL team makes this much, our team makes this much, then we just scale down the money to match how much players are getting paid. But there are huge discrepancies in that because, you know, some college teams don't have Jamar Chase as their receiver, but their receiver's still getting paid a ton of money. So,
yeah.
it's a huge factor in college football right now.
So you're saying you guys did talk about it in the locker room, and then that would maybe upset people if one person wasn't getting as much as another. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, it upset everybody got upset by it because you also have people pay in the locker room. Some people are getting paid 10,000 a month, and some people are paying 10,000 a semester per se. So
For tuition. Yeah.
yeah, for tuition, for rent, for food, for
Yeah,
gas,
they're walk-ons. Yeah.
a whole number of things. And they're sitting here going, well, how am I a starter and I'm a walk-on and I had a good season, but this guy was injured half the year and he gets paid this much. So it's a huge topic of debate, and it's very widely debated on why people are getting paid this much and how people are getting paid this much. Um, and I guess I don't have the answer, and I don't know if anybody really does have
Yeah, that was going to be
the
my next question.
100% correct answer to it.
Yeah, what would be the solution though? Like if that comes up in the locker room, did you guys argue about it or
Yeah, I mean, that has more surely happened, and it usually takes the mature mind to go, hey, you know what? I support my teammate for however much they're getting paid because at the end of the day, they're still my teammate, and I want to see everybody in this locker room get ahead, whether, it's get ahead academically or financially or just get ahead in life in general. So it takes the mature head to not get angry at somebody else who's being successful and
Mhm.
kind of look inward like, okay, well, maybe this guy had the conversation about money before I had the conversation about money. So he got the bigger portion of the pot and I get the leftovers. So, um, it's a very difficult conversation to have, especially when you're having this conversation with an age group that differs between 18-year-olds and 26-year-olds. Um,
Because in the NFL, there's a huge discrepancy between how much players are making, much bigger and wider than,
oh yeah,
I mean, like, Patrick Mahomes is making a lot more money than the backup wideout.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, um,
100%.
we've always had that on NFL teams. And I think now college students are experience the same thing, but I don't know that we've done a good job yet of preparing people for the fact that, yeah, people are going to make a certain amount, different amounts of money
Yeah,
based on their situation. Portal kids, I think, are probably, different than, I don't know, than a walk-on, obviously,
yes.
right? I mean, there's
Hmm.
a lot of factors that go into it. I don't even know all the factors. The position somebody plays,
Hmm.
certainly quarterback, is going to be more expensive than another player, right? But I
Hmm.
think, how do we prepare players out of high school really for this new scenario? Or do you think that they'll be more prepared for it? Because you guys kind of were in the middle of it when it all happened, see?
Yeah, well, I think I was in my first year of junior college when this came out.
Mm-hmm.
And junior college is I guess you could describe it as the trenches. You
Yeah.
don't have a lot of resources.
Yep.
It's very much so on yourself. But I think speaking about high school kids, I don't think they're prepared because they're
Okay.
still 16 or 17 or 18, and they see some guy who's a five-star recruit going to Michigan and he's getting paid a couple million per se, and he's thinking, well, hey, I'm a three-star. I should get paid at least a million then. And
Yeah.
schools aren't going to offer you that because they don't understand that they're not at the caliber in which they need to be. They still have to develop in size, skill, their understanding of the game, and the speed in which it's played. So for high school kids, it's definitely a huge learning curve, understanding how to get paid and why you get paid. Because originally the NCAA came out and said players were getting paid, hoping that um, it would be if some player had a beautiful head of hair, Head and Shoulders would come and offer them an NIL deal and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
listen, we want to represent you." And it quickly went south and went the complete opposite way with teams creating LLCs and paying players that way. So,
Yeah.
and determining players' NIL worth just off of, um, I guess, sake of need. Hey, we
Yeah.
really need a wideout. We'll pay you X amount of money so you come here and rather than whatever university.
Whether you're a coach negotiating your next contract, an athlete navigating NIL or the transfer portal, or an aspiring sports agent looking to break into the industry, representation matters. I represent football coaches, athletic directors, NFL players, and college athletes, and I train and mentor the next generation of sports agent through my online courses and consulting programs. Learn how to protect your value, your eligibility, and your future at JillMcBrideBaxter.com, or email me at jillbaxter@me.com, or just give me a call at 559-250-0151. Smart representation starts with the right information. Thanks for listening to Born to be a Sports Agent. Please share this episode if you think it can help anyone that you know.